So if you were a client, how would you like to be taught how to film something, and how easy do you think is it for me to show someone what looks good on a camera? You know, when you just know.
Yeah, getting your knowledge across when it's like an intrinsic knowledge is difficult, isn't it? And it's not like it's not a formulaic approach to making content, is there?
No.
It's just more of an understanding that you have. And a lot of the older business owners who we deal with, because they haven't grown up using phones and making content, their perception of what makes good content is actually different to what does make good content. Because good content is what's native to your platform. So there's almost a bit of like a paradoxical notion, good content, isn't it? Because what people who aren't really acutely aware of good content like yourself think is good content is beautifully shot, panning, cinematic. That just doesn't really do necessarily too well on Instagram anymore.
Yeah, which is bizarre because it does look fantastic, doesn't it?
I know, but it's just not what people nowadays, they have a thirst for the authentic and organic and user generated, don't they?
Okay, so if you were older, right, would you prefer to have someone come in and do it for you, or would you prefer to learn yourself?
I think it depends what stage of the business that you're at. Obviously, we accommodate for both scenarios, don't we? I think if you're at a stage of your business where you are never going to have the time to put into making content yourself, then it's better to outsource it. Again, you have to then calculate that as part of a fixed cost of your business then, because if your business requires you to be making good content consistently and you aren't going to go and learn how to do it, then someone making your content for you is a necessity forever.
Yeah, and I've actually been thinking, I don't know what business doesn't benefit from having good marketing.
Yeah, and it's when you start making marketing and social media different things is when you fall in big trouble in 2024, 2025 and beyond. They're the same thing. The same thing.
It always baffles me when people say, you know, social media is the future, mate, and I know I've got to get on board with it, and it's like,
nah.
Social media is the present.
Yeah, it's the present and it's been the past too.
Yeah, Facebook, yeah, social media is right now, and you are behind if you aren't getting your head around using social media. I'm on a bit of an upward trajectory at the moment with Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm getting like 1,000 followers a week, which is fucking bizarre, and I don't know why.
I think it's just the cross-posting thing, isn't it, from your Instagram though?
Yeah, well, that just shows that good content translates between platforms. The only thing I think good content doesn't translate between is YouTube, because like YouTube prefers stuff like this with the camera.
Yeah.
And Instagram prefers stuff with your iPhone. But then the question, what baffles me about that and where I can pick holes in it, is that iPhone cameras are getting very, very good, and sometimes it's hard to actually distinguish. You and I know the difference between a HD camera and an iPhone.
Yeah.
But normal people wouldn't.
No.
Because the iPhone cameras, especially the 16, are getting so good.
Yeah.
So what is it about HD cameras that actually stops your engagement, stops people from being turned on by it? Or is it Instagram not pushing out further?
You're never going to know the answers, are you? Because there's probably a handful of people on the planet that understand the way that those algorithms work. All we can go off is our own experience. That the majority of the time you use a HD camera, you end up getting less engagement.
It's actually cheaper as well to use your iPhone.
Yeah. I mean, the majority of content, so I don't know if it's just because the majority of content that's native to that platform is stuff that's filmed on an iPhone. So just the way that the algorithm works is that it's basing it off percentages. I don't know how the algorithm works. You don't need to know how the algorithm works.
What's bizarre about that though is that Instagram, like you'll remember yourself, Taylor, Instagram started from taking good photos.
Yeah.
That's what it was about. It was about taking good photos, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And do you remember when it first came out, you would just put good pictures on there, and Instagram, well, look at the logo, it's a camera. And it's obviously changed and developed and evolved into what it is.
I think one of the problems with social media, and something that holds a lot of the young men back from using social media, is fear of how other people are going to perceive them. Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. That's seen as like one of the ultimate paths you can take, especially as a young man, having your own business, selling your own services. But one of the most integral parts of that is that you have an ability to market what you're doing. And the main channels to market what you're doing, without a shadow of a doubt, whatever your business is social media. Yet men have this sort of bizarre perception of social media that it's cringy, making videos to publish yourself is cringy, and you should kind of just blend into the background. And you know what, right? I've made plenty of content that's ended up being cringy, but it's that content I've made that's ended up being cringy that's allowed me to make content that's ended up making me money.
Yeah, well, content that's cringy, that's not necessarily content that converts, but it's content that converts, suppose, and has to bring traffic in.
Yeah.
Which is entertainment. Like I always say, you're trying to provide value whilst entertaining people on Instagram. That is what you're doing. Your job is to entertain.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to listen to what you've got to say unless I'm entertained by it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
When we're speaking to clients, one of the number one, or prospective clients, I should say, one of the number one concerns they raise is they have an emotional blockage with the idea of making content. And I know their main concern is they don't know how people are going to perceive them. Because what no one wants to look like in our generation is a try-hard. Everyone's devastated at the idea of looking like a try-hard. But guess what? I've had to look like a try-hard when I first started doing this. You've had to look like a try-hard when you first started doing this. But on the other side of looking like a try-hard is actually having a business that is doing well. It's as simple as that. And the reality is that everyone's so busy minding their own business and everyone's so concerned about how they look. No one's concerned about how you look.
Yeah.
No one cares.
And even us who do this day in, day out, when I watch videos, I'm not watching people and thinking about them. I'm thinking about how I would do that differently.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that is ever going to get people to turn their nose up at you if you're using social media is if you come across blatantly arrogant. Like, who was that kid you showed us the other day?
Oh, some fucking dickhead.
Yeah, just some absolute dickhead. Just using Instagram to fucking.
He was trying to portray that he was like
forward.
He was some Dubai fucking millionaire, and you know, when you're looking at this club and you're just thinking.
Yeah, I mean,
like you know that video where you said the other day where the kid's doing this in the restaurant and it like comes into a bit of realism and and they're watching him do it and it looks like he's just being a knobhead. It was like that.
Everyone's so concerned with being mysterious nowadays. No one's concerned with trying to be themselves. And like, you know, you're going to have infinite sort of mystery around you because everyone's authenticity is extremely complicated. But you don't need to hide. You don't need to hide yourself and try and blend in and try and look nonchalant and like you're one of the lads and not make content for people to see you as a cool person who they want to interact with. My behaviour, I mean, I've been outward and really aggressive on social media for years. Do you know what I mean? And when I say aggressive, I mean posting consistently and very much being myself on social media. I haven't had one person come up to me ever, right, and say anything negative to me about that ever. I have no doubt that people will cast negative opinions when they're watching my content, but people cast negative opinions of people in real life as well. I think that you have to look at your social media content as a way of you propagating en masse you to the world. And if you think you have something to sell, if you have a brand that actually does have something to sell and you aren't prepared to start that social media journey and truly dive in as you and the whole you are going to get left behind. As the market gets more sophisticated, people's appetite for inauthentic, fake content and people showing off and bragging, it's not even there anymore. You have to just be conversational yourself and that in it.
Yeah, but there's a difference between Instagram conversation, as in when you're writing a script or reading a script, and in-person conversation, isn't there?
Yeah.
I write words in scripts. Yeah, they are scripts. I write words in scripts specifically at specific points to hit home the point, and also because I know whenever I write a piece of content, I understand what it's going to look like at the back end.
Yeah.
So I understand when I'm writing it what it will look like. Does that make sense?
No, I get you. I think having that understanding.
Hard to explain that.
No, it's because you have like a really fucking deep understanding of it that you just get it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a really funny thing, the fact that Instagram's so prominent nowadays, but you're only doing yourself a disservice if you don't try to wrap your head around it.
If I was to start again, now, let's say I've posted 50 times and I'm getting no success, I would analyse exactly what I'm doing and I'd do the exact opposite.
Really?
Yeah, and I'd test it out and try the types of content. If you're a fitness PT and you've done 100 of A-roll pieces where you've spoken to the camera and nothing's worked, you're getting the same views, you're getting the same people commenting, if any, same amount of likes, just do something totally different.
Yeah.
Just do a text on screen piece, try new content. Like, the reason I don't change the content of Different Property Couple is because it works.
Yeah.
That storytelling aspect, which is what I'm best at, is writing stories for different brands and pulling out the story from a company and getting people on the journey and engaged within their community.
Because we're not making content for content's sake. I'm not sat here trying to be an influencer. I'm not sat here trying to go viral for making short brain rot reels. We're here to try to bring people into the community of the businesses who we're working with.
I hate jumping on trends.
We're not jumping on trends.
I hate doing that.
I'm trying to get the businesses that we're working with, I'm trying to get their ethos out to the world, to build a community, to bring people into that brand's ecosystem so that you can sell to people. People have walls that are so high of distrust nowadays because social media is fake and everyone's acutely aware of it. They're gagging for that authenticity. And when you can be authentic as a brand, I mean, look at BPM, at Nick Bear's company. There are companies that are doing this so well nowadays and they don't even need to sell. Do you know why they don't need to sell? Because you're in their ecosystem. You feel FOMO from not buying. I want to buy Nick Bear's stuff and I live in England.
Yeah.
I'm a fitness junkie and I haven't once researched the quality of his supplements. I want to buy it because I'm trying to buy into the community. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to buy into the community.
100%, and that's a deep understanding of branding as well.
Yeah, they have
people-
a phenomenal understanding of brand. It's unbelievably impressive.
Do you know, if someone came to us and paid for content coaching and didn't walk away with any specific how to film, how to edit, that sort of stuff, but realised and got clarity on how to build a story around their brand, that would be worth so much value to them they don't even understand.
The most valuable thing that a business mentor has ever told me, and it was a mentorship that I seem to have made zero progress in, and admittedly I was in a bit of a bad mental state to do it, and I joined the mentorship as a bit of a Hail Mary to resurrect a business that was kind of on a downwards turn. Yeah, and I thought, by outsourcing agency of the knowledge aspect of my business to another mentorship, I will somehow pull myself out the mud. I was kind of trying to bootstrap off the mentorship success to make me more successful. And the guy who owned the mentorship said something on a reel, and he was like, if you join this mentorship or a mentorship and you pay £10,000 and don't make a penny from the mentorship but get clarity on what you need to do with your business over the next 12 months, you don't believe in your business if you don't think that's infinitely valuable. And the clarity aspect of outsourcing some part of your business to a professional within that space who might have helped you develop systems to help you move forward, and for us we do that through content and sales, is so valuable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and you brought a good point up there, which is that, and like I've been that person with a massive following and no way of capitalised on it at all.
Yeah.
If you're getting, first of all, you come to us, you get great content. That's just by virtue of the fact we're good coaches. And then you have the ability to capitalise on it, actually make money from it. And people have had messages and comments about perhaps it's been brand sponsorships that you've made money from and monetised your audience, but it's not. It's selling your service and product to the people you've already got, and the new engagement you've garnered from having really great content and a strategy and a story behind the community to get involved in, really.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that a social media following that hadn't even hit 4,000 had generated me 6 figures.
Yeah.
And there's no cap to that at all. It's not.
And that was business to customer as well.
And that was B2C. And the thing is that's not even really that impressive. Once you start getting around people who are truly leveraging social media to drive their brands forward, not in a cringy way, but in a way of treating their Instagram like a business, those figures are actually quite low.
I actually respect people more when they take the business and their marketing seriously and the social media seriously.
Yeah, do you know what's actually embarrassing? And I've always thought this. If you're using your social media pure, and that's not embarrassing, forgive me for saying that, but if you're using your social media purely as a social means, what are you doing?
Whack.
Yet to criticise people who are jumping on social media to try and drive their life forward and actually failing in public. How many times I failed in public on social media, you wouldn't even know. But I became numb to the idea that I was failing in public by having posts or campaigns or launches not do well, because I was all the while collecting data to make my service better and inevitably build this service, which we've scaled to figures that took me 6 months to hit previously in under 2 weeks. And it was because the offering matched the quality of lead generation and content, and I hadn't had all those things working in unison in previous attempts at doing this. Now I'm still an infant in this, but most businesses are so foreign to the idea of using social media to sell their services that even me, as a pipsqueak in the lead generation and sales world, can help businesses add an insane amount of value and revenue to their revenue. 2
clients from that I've made money within the first week. From a following that they were thinking was just total bullshit.
Without even expanding their following, just by actually deciding to treat their Instagram following as a community and tapping into that community and asking that community what they wanted to see, what their pain points were, and then answering to those pain points. They had a service that was the answer and that could ale that pain that they had, and then from there getting involved in a sales process where these people who have now seen social media as a liability and a waste of time and something they have to do because they don't really know why. We're now showing them that actually this is a community of people that if they will take something from you for free, i.e. information, they'll also pay you for it. They'll also pay you for it.